Are you afraid to retire? Well, don't be. You're going to make it just fine. Hi, everybody, and welcome back. My wife and I are both in our 60s now, and we've both been retired for 2 years. Many of our friends who are about our same age are also retired, and of course, we still have plenty of friends who are close to retirement. Whenever we speak to our friends who are close to retirement, the thing that we hear most often, without exception, sounds something like this. You know, I'm really looking forward to retirement, but I'm very nervous about it too. I'm just not sure if I've got enough money, or I'm just not sure if my money's going to last. Even if a financial advisor tells them that their that their numbers are rock solid, they feel like they have to keep working for as long as possible. It's kind of like that movie Shawshank Redemption. You've seen that movie, right? We all have. We've probably seen it 10 times. There's a character in that movie named Brooks who has been in prison for so long that he's afraid to be paroled because he doesn't know how to function on the outside. In other words, he's become institutionalized. He's a part of the system. Now, the same thing kind of happens to us after you've been working for 40 or 45 years. You kind of become part of the system, and it's hard to think outside of the system. Well, if that describes you, and if you're fearful about the possibility or the prospect of retiring very soon, I just want to tell you that you're going to make it just fine. You really are. And here's why. When you retire, you're going to adapt to your new reality, and you're just going to make it work. That's what everybody else does. And you're going to do it too. You've worked all of these years. You've gained a lifetime of wisdom and experience. You're smart, and you're just going to figure it out. And it doesn't matter how much money you have or how much money you don't have. You are going to find a way to make it work, just like you have every other challenge in your life. And this is something that everybody does in their retirement. They just find a way to make it work. So don't be afraid. Don't be fearful. Don't be discouraged. You are going to be just fine. Now, by the way, if you're seeing me for the first time, my name is Ronnie. Thanks for stopping by. If you think you'll like the content here on this channel, be sure to hit that thumbs up button that you'll find down below, and feel free to subscribe, and I will thank you in advance. Well, having said all of that, here's 5 reassuring reasons why you're going to make it just fine in retirement if you are a little bit apprehensive right now. Number 1, it doesn't take near as much money to live in retirement as you think it does. Now, of course, some basic math needs to be done and is called for to ensure that all of your bills are covered. But once your bills are covered, you're good. Because beyond your bills, it just doesn't take that much to live and enjoy yourself. And here's why. In retirement, your lifestyle changes. Your spending habits change. And you find less expensive forms of entertainment. A lot of people actually spend less money in retirement than they did during their working years. And this is a common, documented, well-known fact. Some financial institutions report that most retirees, listen to this, some financial institutions report that most retirees, after they have been retired for 20 years, have only spent 20 to 30% of the money that they set aside. Wow! Let me say that another way and turn it around. After 20 years, most retirees still have 70 to 80% of their money. Wow! Now, this is astonishing, especially when you consider the fact that most retirees in America do not retire with $1 million or more. In fact, only 3% of retirees in America retire with $1 million or more. That means 97% of retirees have $1 million or less. In fact, most have around $200,000 to $300,000. And with their Social Security and their savings account and emergency fund, they do just fine. That's really astonishing. Now, what that means is the vast majority of us are going to do just fine in retirement. For one thing, you just don't have the same kind of expenses that you once had when you were working, such as professional clothing, car payments, paying for gas for your commute back and forth to work, having to allocate money for eating lunch or dinner while at work, and so forth and so on. Furthermore, after we retire, we're more inclined to be frugal with our money and make wiser decisions and wiser choices before we make purchases or spend it. Myself, I am astonished at how little money that I actually spend myself in retirement, and yet I don't feel deprived in any way. I do anything that I want to do. I do everything that I want to do, and I'm not deprived at all. This is the best life ever. And I'll tell you something else. Even if you retire with less money than you would like to have ideally, once you do retire, retirement is so worth it that you'll wonder why you didn't do it sooner. You'll quickly realize that being retired is better than working full time, even if it means you're living on less money. The freedom, the autonomy, and the opportunity to just rest is priceless. Number 2, a second reassuring reason that you're going to make it just fine in retirement is after you retire, you will discover that your newfound freedom is what gives you the greatest happiness. Our culture in America values over-consumerism, over-consumption, and having a long working career. This is considered to be normal, to be a part of that consumer working system. But after a lifetime of working and buying things, many of us come to realize that buying things is not what brings us happiness, right? We value our freedom more than anything else. More than anything else, we want to have our individual freedom. On the other hand, people who are consumer-driven or consumer-focused have the greatest fear of letting go. They'll say things like, well, if I retire, I just won't be able to buy things. Well, guess what? Buying things is what keeps us in the rat race. Myself, I value my personal freedom more than anything else because that's what gives me my greatest happiness. And if you value your freedom and independence and autonomy more than anything else, you know what? You're going to make it just fine, even if you have less money than you would ideally like to have. The freedom is worth it. Number 3, there are no regrets in leaving the workplace. Of all the people that I know who have retired, there's not a single one who regrets leaving the workplace. Not a single one. Getting out of the workplace is a gift. Getting off the hamster wheel is a gift. In fact, the only regret that people normally express to me is that they wish they had retired sooner, myself included. And it doesn't matter what their financial status is. If they have a little money or if they have a lot of money, retired life is better than working life. Now, I'm not saying that retirement doesn't have its challenges, because of course it does, but our fears tend to be overblown and blown out of proportion. Besides, the challenges in retirement are easy to overcome, and they are well worth the effort. Once you retire and you take the plunge, you will have no regrets for leaving the workplace. You really won't. Number 4, another reassuring reason that you're going to do just fine in retirement is it's easy to stay busy. It really is. You are going to have plenty to do. After my father had been retired for about 5 years, and he's passed away now, God bless his soul. But after my father had been retired for about 5 years, one day I approached him and I says, how's retirement going for you? Are you enjoying it? Are you busy? And his response to me was this: I'm so busy now that I don't know how I found time to go to work. You've probably heard that before too. But that's what he said to me. I'm just so busy now, I don't know how I ever had time to go to work. He spent time working around his house and in his garden, attending his grandchildren's ball games, running errands. Him and my mother spent time together doing the thing that they do. And it's true of all of us. It's very easy to stay busy in retirement. And that's what it's going to be like for you. You're going to find plenty of things to do. And the best part is, all of those things that you're going to be doing, you're going to be doing it on your own schedule and according to your own pace. I hear some people talk about being bored in retirement, or not having anything to do in retirement. And you know, I don't have a clue what they're talking about. How could anyone be bored in retirement? People who are bored in retirement, they just don't know how to do retirement. Many retirees just continue doing the hobbies that they've always done, but now they can take a deep dive into their hobbies. Myself, I have always had a life outside of work, and I think that's important, don't you? And what I mean is this: my entire life and my entire identity was not tied up and wrapped up in work. I had a life outside of work, and I had a life outside of the daily grind. And now that I'm retired, it was an easy transition for me to just go into the next chapter of my life. In fact, the transition was seamless. I just continued doing the things that I've always done, but now I'm freed up to do them to my heart's content. Plus, there's so many other free and inexpensive things to do in retirement that I'm afraid that I won't get to do them all before time runs out on me. So number 5, another reassuring reason that you're going to make it just fine in retirement is this: after you retire, it becomes very clear to you that your health is more important than your finances. Now, in our retirement planning, we tend to focus on our finances more than anything else. However, finances are not the only consideration in our retirement planning. Your health has to be considered too. Here's why. As we get older, we're running out of time and we're running out of health. And once our health is gone, it's very difficult to get it back, right? That's why you shouldn't hang on to work longer than necessary. And never become a victim of that just one more year syndrome. It's debilitating. And people just hang on to work just one more year and just one more year and just one more year. And the next thing you know, it's been 5 years or 7 years or 10 years, and now they're sick. The good news is your health can actually improve after you retire if you get out early enough. And here's why. You have more time to focus on exercise. You have more time to focus upon your well-being and fitness. You'll have a tendency to start eating better, and you'll probably even start cooking at home, which your meals are healthier, they're more nutritional, they taste better and more enjoyable anyway. My wife and I have a saying around here which goes like this: make your home kitchen the best restaurant in town. And that's exactly what we do, and that's how we live. Being retired means less stress, and most retirees will tell you that they're sleeping better after they've retired, and I've told you that myself many times. I can personally attest to all the benefits of being retired. My health and fitness have actually improved because now I have more time to devote to my personal wellness. So those are my 5 reassuring reasons why you're going to make it just fine in retirement. But if I were to take all 5 of those points and condense them down into one takeaway, it would be this: no matter what your concerns are, and no matter the challenges that you will face in retirement, you are going to adapt and make it work. You're going to be just fine, and it's going to be worth the effort. Listen to this. Getting out of the rat race is the goal. Getting off the hamster wheel is essential, and escaping the daily grind is good for you. Well, that's all for now. I'm curious to hear your thoughts and opinions on this subject, so let's get a conversation going, and leave me a comment below and tell me about your fears and concerns, or how you overcame them, or how it was that you were never fearful about retiring. Other people will read your comments and will be inspired by them, so share your ideas with the world. If you've enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that thumbs up button and feel free to subscribe. And also, again, you can share this video with others who you might know that could benefit from it. I'm Ronnie. Take care, and we will see you next time.